welcome to Yoga with Danielle. Today we're going to focus a lot on the hamstrings, creating space through the backs of the legs. And as we progress through these postures today, know that you can always stick with the first round of asanas, postures, exercises that we do first, and you can repeat those at all different stages of the practice. But we're going to increase the intensity of the stretch by starting on the ground and then, coming up to standing into some standing postures. And I'll cue you guys also so that if you want to stay with the first variation, you can. Otherwise, we can kind of progress into going into a little bit deeper stretches. So first, we're going to start on our backs today. Okay, so go ahead and make your way on the ground, nice and slow. Go ahead and hug those knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. You can even rock from side to side. Good, and let's actually just do some circles with the knees together, just about 3 in one direction. Nothing too crazy, you can be pretty passive here. Good, and then slowly reversing the circle, again, knees together. Great, and then we'll take the knees apart and circle them down and around 3 times. Okay, good, and then we'll go the opposite direction, again, letting the knees separate. Coming up and around. Okay, good. And then planting your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. So I'm going to go as wide as my mat. And I'm going to bring my arms into cactus arms, but you're welcome to stretch your arms out to the sides if that feels more comfortable. And just going to window wiper our legs just right and left. Just nice, soft little, again, massaging of the hip joint. And, finding a little bit of the rotation through the hip. This also feels, for me, a nice little massage through my sacrum and my low back, okay? And again, you don't have to move as big, you can move smaller. These can be micro movements. Again, just inviting this movement into your body as you need. Okay, good. Let's do one more on each side. Make sure you're nice and even. And then bringing your knees back up towards the sky, you'll walk your feet in closer together so you're now about hip distance apart. So ankles, knees, and hips are all in line with each other, okay? And then let's go and bring our hands onto our rib cage or even on your hips if that feels comfortable. And I invite you to close your eyes and just focus on your breath just for a few moments here. So taking a nice big deep inhale in through your nose and then take a big exhale out through your mouth. Inhaling in, feel expansion of your rib cage, the side body, the back body. Keep that space, and then exhale out through your mouth. Good, one more just like that. Inhaling in, feel the space fill up, feel the oxygen, breathe in. Keep all that space, and exhale, empty out. And then I invite you to seal your lips, practicing just like that, in and out through your nose. Okay, and maybe shorter breath, that's okay, but finding again that rhythmic-like quality in through your nose and out through your nose. Slowly move your arms down by your sides, blink your eyes open. And we'll start with activating and warming up the hamstrings here, okay? So rooting down through your feet, pressing into the backs of your arms. Bridge pose. Inhaling, lift your hips up towards the sky. Hug your knees and inner thighs in towards your midline, okay? I'm gonna walk my shoulder blades underneath me so I feel a little bit more openness through the chest, the collarbones. Keep rooting down through your feet. Let your glutes kick in, let your hamstrings activate. Good, checking back in with the rhythm of your breath. And then exhaling, slowly lower down, nice and slow. You can lower down in one piece or you can lower down one vertebrae at a time, whatever feels best for your body today, okay? Inhaling, hips lift back up towards the sky, press into the backs of your arms, press into your feet. See if you can lift your hips up a little bit higher. Soften your glutes, okay? So that might make your hips drop a little bit. And notice how your glutes are a little bit soft. Maybe you're using a little bit more of your hamstrings or inner thighs to help guiding your legs in towards your midline. And then reactivate those glutes and press your hips up a little bit higher. Stay for a breath. Inhale in. Exhale out. Stay for the inhale. Exhaling slowly, lower back down again, one vertebrae at a time or in one whole piece, okay? And we'll do that one more time, okay? Inhaling, hips lift up towards the sky, rooting down through your feet, pressing into the backs of your arms, the backs of your shoulders to lift your hips up higher, okay? Soften your glutes, okay? Just let them relax a little bit. Your hips might drop down. Good. Hang out here for just a moment. Let your feet and bone structure do a little bit of the work. Let the hamstrings find a little bit of strength here. Okay, a little bit of activation. It's hard to do when you're not using your glutes, but they're working, I promise. Okay. Then let's go and activate the glutes. Press your hips back up towards the sky. Soften the glutes. Breathe in. Exhale out. Activate the glutes, press your hips up a little bit higher. Good, stay for a breath. Stay for the inhale. Exhaling slowly, lower back down, nice and slow. Awesome, we're gonna come back to those little window wipers, okay? So again, just shifting your knees from right to left. Again, this can be bigger movement or you can stay pretty small and subtle here. And then one more on each side. Okay, wonderful. Okay, great. From here, we're going to come on up into tabletop. Okay, so you can roll up, you can roll onto your side, and we'll gently just make our way up into hands and knees. Okay, toes are going to tuck under. Inhaling, looking up towards the sky, arching the back. Exhaling, rounding your spine. Good, so inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Good, one more just like that. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Lifting your hips up towards the sky, come into your first downward facing dog. Okay, and feel free to pedal your feet out, bending your knees, swaying your hips from side to side, okay, and know already that this downward dog is already a big hamstring opener, back of the leg opener, okay, so if this is too much for you right away, just bend your knees, okay, keep lifting those hips up towards the sky. Good. Find that deep breath. Okay, and as we move in to the hamstrings, okay, maybe we go a little bit deeper each time. Maybe we have to ease out of it, but being patient, following your breath, listening to your body. Okay, good. Maybe you start to straighten your legs a little bit more here in your downward dog, or maybe you go back to the bent knees, that's fine. Okay, looking up at your hands, gently traveling to the top of your mat. Okay, take your time. Here's our first forward fold. Again, soft knees. My knees are bent. Okay, I'm folding my body in half here. I'm draping my head, making my head nice and heavy. And then go ahead and hang on to opposite elbows and gently just sway from right to left. Even little figure eights. I'm already moving to the glutes already. Good, so little figure eights here, just shifting and swaying from side to side. Good, full deep breath. Again, knees can stay soft and bent here deeply as you need, okay? They can be really bent, they can be micro bend. Just listening to your body, listening to your hamstrings, allowing them to wake up nice and slow. Okay. Release your arms. Bend your knees if they are not bent already. Slowly roll up to come all the way up to standing. Take your time. Arms will reach up over your head. And exhaling, hands at your heart center. Inhaling, arms reach up over your head. Again, bent knees here. Soften your knees. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Drop your head, make it heavy. Okay, here's our second forward fold. Okay, a little activation here through the core and the hamstrings. Again, knees can stay bent. Inhaling, we're going to lengthen up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. So fingertips to your shins or even above your knees, okay? So that you can use your hands to help guide your chest up, maybe a little bit higher than normal. Getting those hamstrings to kick in and warming up here, okay? Knees can stay bent or you can slightly start to straighten them, and again, let those hamstrings work here. Exhaling, fold forward, nice soft forward fold. Again, knees bent, or you can slowly start to straighten your legs. Okay, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhaling, lengthening up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Again, bent knees, hands below or above the knees, roll your chest, find that flat back that we did in tabletop. Let your hamstrings activate, press down into your feet to lift up out of the floor a little bit more. Good, exhaling, fold forward, forward fold. Okay, so we're finding some activation and then some lengthening of the hamstrings and the legs. Okay, so here's our last one. Inhaling, rise up halfway. Good, activate, press down into your hands, into your feet, okay? Or maybe you're letting your arms dangle, so let your core really kick in here, okay? Lift up a little bit higher, okay? Find that cow pose in your back, even though it won't quite look like it, okay? You want those hamstrings rooting, ground into your heels, into your big toe, your pinky toe. Exhaling, fold forward, forward fold. From here, we're going to gently step back, downward facing dog. Okay, again, another hamstring lengthener, okay, in our upside down V position here. Okay, let's take 3 slow, deep breaths in. Okay, so inhaling in through your nose, exhaling out through your nose. Inhaling in through your nose, exhaling out. Last one, inhaling in, exhaling out. Right foot steps forward, low lunge, okay? So again, this can come in different ways. You can lower your knees down, step your right foot up to the top of your mat. Okay, good. From here, arms are gonna reach up over our head. Okay, we're rooting down through our right foot, knees never going past our toes. We want our knees stacked right on top of our ankle. And again, so that when we press down into our heel, it presses our right hip back. It activates our hamstring ever so slightly. Lifting up through your chest. Maybe your biceps are in line with your ears. Good. Take a nice big deep inhale in. Exhaling, hands lower down over your right foot. We're going to straighten the right leg coming into half split. Okay, I'm going to flex my right toes up towards the sky. Bump my right hip back so my hips are in line. They're nice and square. And again, leg does not have to be completely straight. You can do this with a bent knee and still get a deep hamstring stretch on this right side, okay? Think about your heart going towards your toes instead of down towards your navel or towards your knee. We want to keep lengthening the spine nice and long here. Okay. Breathing in. Nice full deep body breath. Fill up your whole body with oxygen. Good, being patient as this is the first really big deep hamstring stretch. Good, staying for about another 10 more seconds here. Okay, good. We're going to bend back into this right knee. We're going to step back, downward facing dog, tabletop, or child's pose. Okay, we've got lots of options here. Again, checking in with how your body is feeling, what energy level you're at today. Okay, pause wherever you're at. Left foot will step forward, low lunge. Again, you can step it right in between your hands. You can lower down onto your knees, step that left foot forward. And then take your time, arms will reach up over your head. You can climb up, pressing your hands into your quad until you feel nice and steady and stable. You can hang on to your wall or chair. Okay, be patient, be kind, take your time. And then really press into that left heel, right? So we're not sinking into our hips. We want to ground and root into that left heel to set our hips back, activate the left hamstring. Sit up even taller. Breathe a little bit deeper. Don't forget about your breath. Lift up a little bit higher. Good, hands around your left foot, half split. Okay, so hips shift over your right knee. Okay, I'm gonna walk my left toes forward a little bit so I have a little more space to go here, and then I'll flex through my left toes, okay? Resist the urge to try to sit back on this right heel. Try to stay nice and stacked up, okay? This is a prep for splits, okay? Not that we're gonna do that today, but just so you kind of know where we're going at here, okay? So I want to keep this right hip nice and open as possible, okay? Good, okay, think about your heart going towards your left toes. Bump that left hip back, keep those hips square as best you can. Good, and then check in. How does this left side feel versus the right side? Okay, if you prefer having your toes tucked under in the back or pointed back, okay, kind of check in with that too. I can't really decide on this side. You can always add padding under the knees as well too. If you need to, you can grab a blanket or fold up your yoga mat for a little extra padding here, okay? Good, a few more deep breaths. Good, finding a little bit more length. Great, we're gonna bend back into this left knee. Stepping back, again, tabletop, child's pose, or downward facing dog. Okay. And then start to notice how your hamstrings are feeling if you chose downward dog. Do they feel a little bit more open? Maybe notice how your hips feel if you're in child's pose. Do you feel like you have a little more space through your hips? Do your hips go down closer to your heels? Good. Looking up at your hands, traveling to the top of your mat. Take your time. Good. Standing forward fold. Okay. Inhaling, lengthen up. Find the hamstrings rooting down as you press down through your feet. Let your hamstrings activate. Exhaling, folding forward, forward fold. Inhaling to slowly rise up to come up to standing. Again, take your time. Arms reach up over your head. Exhaling, hands at your heart center. Okay, we're going to come into chair pose. So big toes together, heels slightly apart, okay? And we're gonna come into easy chair, okay? So just find a nice comfortable chair that you would wanna sit in, okay? Nice soft knees, okay? So a little bend in the knees, folding from the hips a little bit here. I'm gonna bring my hands on top of my quads to help kind of lift my chest up a little bit higher, okay? Hands are gonna come to your heart center, okay? And we're just gonna lower down a little bit and up, just kind of moving softly, just in and out of a soft chair, lounge chair, soft chair, lounge chair, okay? And again, activating the glutes, the quads, firing up the hamstrings just a little bit. Okay, good. Exhaling, fold over those legs, forward fold. Inhaling to lengthen up halfway. Exhaling, stepping back, plank pose. Okay, and again, plank your way on your knees, on your forearms, just pausing and holding for a moment. And then lowering all the way down. Again, this can be your choice. Straight legs, bent knees, slowly bending those elbows, lowering your chest all the way down onto the mat, and then coming up into Sphinx pose. So elbows and forearms down, pressing down, lifting up through your chest. Good, letting your legs be heavy, okay, press into the tops of your feet here into the mat. Okay, good, and then exhaling, lowering down, we'll all meet back in downward facing dog. Inhaling, looking up at your hands, again, traveling to the top of your mat. Ardha Uttanasana, press down into your feet, lift up a little bit higher than halfway, feel your hamstrings kick in. Exhaling, fold, forward, forward, fold. From here, we're going to step our left leg back behind us, okay? So nice big wide step. You can take one big step, you can take a few little baby steps, coming into this nice high lunge, okay? So dip the hips, roll the shoulders, lift the chest and the heart. Good, okay, and this is where you can go back to lowering that back knee down and doing the half split, okay? Otherwise, if you feel ready, we're gonna straighten the right leg, coming into wide leg pyramid pose. Okay, so drop your head, make it heavy, and again, straightening the right leg as best you can. Last breath, we'll bend back into this right knee. To step forward, standing forward fold. Again, one big step, a few little baby steps. Take your time, knees can be bent. Inhaling, lengthen up, okay, so root down to rise up halfway. Exhaling, fold forward. Right leg steps back this time, and again, high lunge. Take your time, one big step, few little baby steps, okay? Take as many steps, take as much time as you need. Dip the hips, roll the shoulders, lift the chest and the heart, and really press into that right heel. Good, and again, back knee can lower down for half split, or staying for wide leg pyramid pose. Straighten the left leg, drop your head, hips will lift up nice and high. Good, breathing in. Good, left knee bends. Take your time to step forward. Inhaling, lengthen up halfway. Okay, any variation here. Exhaling, fold forward, forward fold. Inhaling to slowly rise up to come up to standing. Exhaling, hands at your heart center. Okay, good. From here, we're going to step our left leg back behind us, okay? Or I should say back behind us, out to the side, okay? We're gonna set up for a pyramid pose, okay? So remembering that pyramid pose, your weight is even between your feet, okay? My feet are hip distance apart still, okay? So when I step back, I'm not stepping my left foot behind my right. I'm stepping it out to the left, and even wider if you'd like, okay? If that feels more sturdy, that's fine, okay? But starting at this hip distance apart, okay, left leg will step back, and then my left toes are slightly angled ever so slightly, okay? And again, right hip bumps back, hips are square to the top of the mat. Keep your hands on your hips, and again, we're gonna fold forward, okay? Keep pressing into that back leg, that back heel, and again, knee can be bent here, that's fine. Just keep those hips nice and square as best you can. Good, slowly start to lower down, nice and slow. Maybe your hands reach towards the ground, maybe they reach towards a chair, okay? Maybe you have some books underneath your hands, that's fine too, okay? So here's our deeper hamstring stretch. And again, any of these variations you can do, okay? You can stick with the first one or the second one. Here's our third hamstring variation. Okay, so doing, low lunge into half split. Okay, you can do that 3-4 times, and that's great, okay? Repetition is so good for our bodies, okay? Especially for our mind, okay? And this is just a little buildup of a little more intense hamstring stretching, okay? But you can stick with the first one as well as the second one. Okay, and again, staying here. Or we're going to gently walk our hands just over towards the right. Okay, so my hands are just reaching out to the, not directly to the side, but out in front here. So again, I can focus on keeping my hips square. Okay, I'm bumping that right hip back. And then just getting a little bit different stretch through the outside hamstring. Maybe you feel it more on the inside, but just a different angle here for the stretch. Good, hands walk back to the center, okay? Here's where your strength is. Hands on your hips, you gotta press down through your feet evenly. Roll your shoulders, point your elbows up towards the sky, okay? Ground down through your feet to slowly rise up to come up to standing. And then stepping forward to the top of your mat, mountain pose. Good, if you need to shake your legs out, go for it. And then we'll switch to the other side. Right leg steps back, legs are straight, okay? Feeling nice and even here in your weight so you're not leaning to the back or to the front too much. You want to have even weight. Left hip bumps back. Right foot's at a slight 45-degree angle, okay? Hands on your hips. Take your time as you lead with your chest forward. Check in, okay? This is kind of where I get a little wobbly. My hips start to do some weird stuff, so just check in, go slow, move slow. I have to micro bend my knee. You're welcome to do that as well. And then maybe your hands lower down onto the mat. Again, any props if you want to use those, that's great, okay? Staying here in just pyramid pose. Good. Think about dropping your head, making it heavy. Keep this back leg nice and active. So keep pressing into your right heel, your right pinky toe. Good. A few more deep breaths before we go into the angle. Good. Hands walk over to the left. Okay, left diagonal, my right hand reaches across. And again, just softening my heart center towards my left leg. Again, knee can be bent if your hamstring's not quite ready. Just be patient. Great, hands back to the center. And again, root down through both your feet. Press down into the floor. Here's that hamstring activation, okay? So we lengthen them. Now we gotta find our strength. Hands onto your hips, roll your shoulders, lift your elbows up towards the sky, and then slowly rise up. Slower the better, more controlled. Stepping up to the top of your mat, mountain pose. Good, and then shake your legs out if you need to. Great. Inhaling, arms up over your head. Exhaling, folding forward, forward fold. Inhaling, lengthen up halfway. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhaling, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend your knees, lower your hips. This time, maybe your arms reach up over your head. Okay, find that activation in your legs. Okay, soft, easy chair. Doesn't have to be your deepest chair. Good, soften over your legs and then gently step back, downward facing dog. Okay, so here's our last downward dog. Notice how your hamstrings feel here. Good, breathing, finding softness. Good, and then lowering down onto your knees, and then we'll make our way into a seated position. Okay, so I'm just going to turn to face you all. My legs are going to just be crossed. And gently just fold over your legs. Okay, you're welcome to come in child's pose if that feels better. Good, and if you're in cross-legged seated position, we're just going to switch out the cross of our legs so the other leg's in front. And then folding forward again, just rounding over, not worrying too much. Good, and then slowly rising back up, making your way onto your back. Okay, good. Hugging your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Good, starting with those little egg beaters, we're gonna separate the knees, circling them down and around. 3 times. Good, reversing the circle. 3 times. Good, knees together, hug in. And when you feel ready, you'll stretch your legs out nice and long on your mat for Shavasana. Okay, legs can be out as wide as your mat, palms can turn up towards the sky. You can keep your hands connected to your rib cage or on your hips. And again, just focusing on your breath here. Try not to check out, but to check in. Notice how your body feels now versus when you first started. Do you feel more space through the backs of your legs? Can you fill up with more breath than when you first started? Are you able to sense your whole self? Not leaving anything out. Mind, body, breath. Gently shift your head from side to side. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, stretching your arms up over your head. You can even bring your big toes together to touch. Gathering your knees into your chest. And then coming on up to a seated position. Bringing your hands together at your heart center. Take a nice big deep inhale in through your nose. Big exhale out through your mouth. And as a sign of peace, we say Shanti, Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this little short hamstring opener. We'll see you all later, okay? Bye.